Hola, hola, hola. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están mis amores? How are you doing? Independent pretty girlies. How are you today? So, the news broke out. I'm a few hours late. I'm so mad about that, but I had to cover this story because the news broke out that Keke Palmer has filed a restraining order against her baby's father, and also has been doing a lot of things behind closed doors that we were unaware of. Okay. And I want to use yet another example of this public figure because this is something that happens to everyday women. This is something that happens to everyday women on a consistent and daily basis. Okay. Everyday women on a consistent and daily basis suffer through this sort of harassment and physical, I don't want to say it, like physical danger, literal danger from males. And we see it, it's all around us, women. These males are uncontrollable. They are completely out of control. They have no empathy, they have no sympathy, they have no inherent value. And like I say in almost all of my videos, pretty much all of my videos, the ones that fight against their natural nature, their natural aggressive tendency, because think of their chromosomes, right? They are XY, right? So they have a lot more aggressive chromosomes within them. It makes them a lot more prone to aggression. It makes them a lot more prone to anger. And this is a very, very dangerous species to the female species. So we as females need to stop walking around this earth ignoring the fact that all males are dangerous. 95 to 98% of males are dangerous. So you have to have the mentality that all of them are dangerous and start from there. They're all dangerous. All of them, because they're aggressive. They're prone to it by nature. It's in their chromosomes. And you can't walk around, I don't care how sweet he seems, how nice he seems, or if he's giving you all these things, you cannot walk around here delusional. I don't care if he buys you chocolates every day. That is an aggressive species that you're dealing with. And you have to keep that in mind if you're going to continue to interact with them. You have to keep it in mind even if you're not going to continue to interact with them, because a lot of them like to get aggressive, particularly with females that don't want them. Okay, so now this Keke Palmer story has surfaced. And what do we hear? What do we hear? Yet another story of a male, the male species, putting yet another female life in literal danger. And not just her life, but also the life of the child, his child, and her child in danger. All right, so I got to cover this. You know, that's what we do on this channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe, comment below. What we do is we cover current topics. It could be with celebrities, it could be on the news, right? Or it could just be a topic that's trending or that has come up. And we cover those topics and we tie it back to the root cause and the psychology of it. And we take a look at what's really going on within that particular topic. So for those of you that don't know, my background is in psychology. I am a psychologist, my degrees all underneath the psychology umbrella. Okay, so we talk about those, we talk about all of those things. We also, in general, take a look at the psychology of males and females and human nature, and the reason why humans will behave in certain ways or why they might not. All right, so let's take a look here.
Told the court, I'm very concerned for Leo's safety with Darius, given his violent, volatile, and jealous nature. Comments he has made which have caused me grave concern, and the lack of restraint Darius has already exhibited regarding his temper in front of our son. And then she said the abuse during our relationship was not just physical, but emotional and manipulative. Darius would love bomb me and make me feel like I was the most important woman in the world, only to get extremely distant and cold over a perceived insult to him, she wrote in an emotional declaration. And then she went on to detail an incident that happened in February of 2022.
So you see, love bombing, in which immediately after he would turn cold and distant and aggressive. So what does love bombing mean? Well, love bombing is actually quite scary behavior, right? What males have learned to do is to go over the top with what they know that women and females want, the female species wants, okay? And so a lot of these males know that the female species, we tend to romanticize things, which makes it very, very dangerous for us. And the reason we romanticize things is because we want that care, we want the love, we want the affection, and we want it shown, especially by the male that we might be interested in, if there's a male that we're interested in. They know that. And I want you all to keep in mind that knowing that is not the same as caring. They don't care that you feel this way because they don't have the emotional capacity to feel on the same level as a female is able to feel. They don't have the emotional capacity to empathize on the same level as a female is able to empathize. You know why? It's in their biology to not be able to do that. They cannot do it. XY chromosome. They are aggressors by nature. They cannot do it. We have XX chromosome. Okay, so all the testosterone, right? They have like 100 times more of it than we do. And if you look up the definition of what testosterone does, you will see what testosterone does is it makes you more aggressive. It makes you less empathetic, more manipulative. You cannot care on the same level as a female. It cannot happen because they are not biologically wired to be able to do so. And that's okay. Females, we need to start protecting ourselves more and stop expecting the male species to be able to do something that they fundamentally cannot do. And when I say 95 to 98% of the male species are completely incapable, what I'm wanting you to make sure of is that you're processing and saying to yourself, that's pretty much all of them. Don't say, oh, I'm going to go find the 1 to 3%. No, that's pretty much all of them. And keep in mind that the 1 to 3%, they're not wired any differently. But the 1 to 3%, and 3%, I'm just being generous because I honestly think it's 1 to 2%. I really honestly think it's 1 to 2%. But the 1 to 3%, it's not because they're wired any differently. They're wired in the exact same way, but they have chosen to actively fight and push back against their nature. And in order to do that, it takes an incredibly amount of work. But they've chosen to do that work. Most males don't want to do all that work. It is too much work. It is too hard, and they would have to do it on a daily basis. Imagine trying to fight yourself on a daily basis. Imagine trying to fight what comes natural to you every single day. So it's not a matter of women getting upset about this. It's a matter of us women and females getting more educated on the real nature of men and staying away from them, treating them according to the reality of who they are. Don't go out with them at night. If they start love bombing you because they want to take advantage of you and it's inauthentic, it is inauthentic. Human nature, right? When we talk about love and interest, we're not looking for short term. So it is humanly impossible to keep up that level of interest for an extended period of time. You're buying me flowers every day? Until when? You think you're going to be able to do that forever? It's too much. It's inauthentic. So when you see that, women, when you see that, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Particularly passionate about this because I've seen it with my own eyes. Fortunately, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I knew what was happening. So it made it a lot easier, I'll say it that way, to pull out of that deal quite quickly. And you want to be careful not to stick around very long for that, because if you're not like in psychology, you're not a mental health specialist, you're not gonna even know where to start with trying to fix the damage that they will inflict on you mentally, psychologically, and physically. You're going to be, it's hard for a psychologist to do it, much less alone someone that's not trained in the field. So as soon as you start seeing that don't perceive it as, oh my God, I love this. No, you want to make sure your brain is wired to be able to recognize danger when there's danger. You want to make sure that your brain is wired to be able to recognize danger when there's danger. You don't want your brain to be wired based off of its trauma, because then what happens is, it's not able to accurately identify danger. And so it's not able to protect you accordingly. Think of it as a malfunctioning computer. That's what trauma does. It's like a virus within the computer. All right. Let's take a look at this.
Trish said Jackson choked me and body slammed me onto the stairs in my home after becoming violently jealous and irrationally angry over a bikini picture. She said she only showed him the photo, but he still became upset. On the drive home, I was worried that we would get into an accident because of how angry he was. Darius spent the rest of the night yelling at me, not letting me sleep so he could keep yelling at me, she said. In the bedroom, he slammed me on the floor and slapped my head from side to side. The next morning, he was standing at the bottom of the stairs near the front door, screaming at me as I was coming down the stairs, Palmer said. When I was almost at the bottom of the stairs, he grabbed me around the neck and body slammed me back on the stairs. And she's not lying because she submitted footage.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's all I have to say. Y'all, did you hear that? This type of stuff pisses me off. There's two things that really, really get to me, okay? Children, okay, and women and females that are literally put in physical, mental, and emotional danger from males. Those two things trigger me so hard you can't even imagine. Now I have, most of my clients are females. I'm able to work with females, but I get triggered so much by hearing things I don't want to hear when it comes to children being mistreated, that I don't work with children. I did it for a few years when I was in training. So I did it for a few years when I was in training, but now that I have all the degrees and I'm PhD level, I have chosen to not specialize in that. Instead, I will talk about those things here on my platform. Because if I specialize in it and I have to look at one of these people that has done that to the child, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Someone I cannot remain objective. I can't remain objective. So you hear the level of danger. This is the type of male that will literally delete you. Don't stay in there. Oh, he was just mad. He was just this. He was just that. He will delete you. Because he can't control himself. It's in his nature. It is in his makeup to be aggressive, to be unauthentic and not empathetic, not sympathetic whatsoever. It is in their nature. Y'all, it's in their nature. It is who they are fundamentally. So when they're so easily pouring out comments and buying you things, and you see that they're overdoing it, like, oh, every day you're getting a different comment or compliment, it's fake, obviously. They're acting because they don't have the natural ability to do that, yet alone sustain it. Okay, so I want you to try your best to start noticing these things early. I don't want any male touching you, period. They have no business touching you. Don't touch my finger. Don't touch my shoulder. Don't touch my leg. Leave me alone. It's so insane to me, the audacity of these males, the sheer audacity. The sheer audacity to put your hands on the only species, the female species, the only species capable of keeping all of you from going extinct. The sheer audacity. The sheer audacity when you start complaining about paying bills, now you want to go 50-50, you're complaining to the only species that is capable of keeping you from going extinct. Literally. We have sperm banks. We can go to the sperm bank. We don't have womb banks, sir. There are no womb banks. You can't go to a womb bank to help you give birth to a child. We are the only ones that keep you from going extinct. The audacity. This is why in all my videos I tell you, don't go 50-50 nothing. If he love bombs you and does all these nice things all at once, you're out. It doesn't take long to see that that's what's happening. If you're feeling like I'm on cloud 9, this can't be real. If that's the type of feeling you're getting when you meet someone, you're right. It can't be real, and it's not real, and it's time to leave. It's time to go. That is a dangerous situation, and your brain is not wiring it as danger because of your traumas. So it's like a computer that has this virus, right? That's keeping it from functioning properly. Get out of there. This is why I also don't believe in marriage. I think it is ridiculous. All women and females should have their own space. They should have their own house, their own place. And for the most part, we do. We're more successful than them at everything. So women need to stop inviting these aggressors into our space. Keep it your space. Don't get married. There's nothing there for you. Marriage is the worst deal on planet Earth for a woman. Unless that male is like 100 times richer than you don't got no business getting married. Even then, I wouldn't get married. But at least I would try to see where you're coming from. So there was a comment. I was watching a YouTube video, and there was also a comment from a woman that said, I don't care what anyone says. If the guy is willing to go 50-50 with me and I can move into a nicer house than I have now, then I'm going to do it. And I felt like, I could see where she's coming from with that, actually. But those are especially the situations where you don't want to be doing that. Because then you're really stuck. Because you can't afford what you're getting. You can't afford it by yourself. So women, let's start thinking and using our brains. Okay? The last thing you want to do is just so you can upgrade into a nicer house or a nicer space, you get yourself stuck with a male. You literally are you're walking into a cage, you're closing the cage with the key, and then you throw the cage out. You throw the key out from the cage. Imagine the cage has bars, you lock it, and then you just throw the keys away. That's literally what you're doing when you do that. You're wanting to combine finances with someone just so they can help you pay half of everything. And then you move into a space that you cannot afford by yourself. So how are you going to leave? If you need to leave. If the guy becomes more and more psycho by the day, what are you going to do? It's not a smart move. Then you'd have to downgrade. Then you'll be feeling all type of ways. Then you'll be psychologically stuck there. And you can't do anything until you deal with the psychology of it. Of you being there. Of you having made that choice. Of you having to admit that you were wrong in your choice. All these things takes most people years to process through. And this is what you're getting yourself into. It takes most females years to process through this because of the way we're wired. We're very emotional. We're very, we want, this kind of fantasy, this fairy tale. So the decoding of what we want, especially when reality doesn't support what we want, takes us years. Don't do it. Your protection has to be solid from the get-go. And if you're currently in one of those situations, find a safe or the safest way or option to move forward, because that's going to depend. A lot of people can't just pull out just because that's dangerous. It becomes even more dangerous. Okay.
Of him abusing her to the police. And here's some of the photos. Now, of course, this is kind of hard to watch because you can just imagine what he did to her just from these photos. And that incident that I just described to you from February 2022, that picture on the far right is from that date. You can see him by the stairs. You can see the date, February 13th, 2022, and it looks like he's getting ready to body slam her on those stairs, just like she said. And I hope he gets charged and has to go to jail, because a restraining order isn't enough for everything she's been going through.
He better get charged and go to jail. I watched a few videos on this, actually. One of them was a male doing the commenting. And why am I not surprised that he didn't even say that the guy should go to jail? He was like, well, I hope she gets full custody. All we can do is pray for them. That's what he said. I was like, Lord help me. He all we can do is pray for them. He didn't say this guy better go to jail. He wasn't outraged, right? No, we can do more than just pray for them. We need to put him in jail because he shouldn't be running loose. He's out of control. You make an example out of all of them. Period. I'm glad that she's speaking out. I'm really glad and proud of her, actually, because they've been together 2 years. So many women, it takes them so much longer, and the longer you're in it, the more damage these animals do, right? So yet another example, y'all. Yet another example. Be careful. Do not let them touch you in any way. I don't care if you've known them for a few months. They're aggressors. You need to understand their true nature. Period. If you're going to open your legs for them, make sure you've known them for at least 6 months. Because these males lie. They lie as easily as breathing air comes to them. That's where love bombing comes from. It's just them lying. Literally, it's another word for lying. And then they lie for a few weeks or a week or a few days, because it gets shorter and shorter each time they do those lies. And then go right back to treating you as an object. Because they are not capable of the level of emotion that would be needed in order to elevate beyond that type of animalistic behavior. Okay. So protect yourselves. Be safe, please. Don't let anyone into your nice little space. They can have theirs, you can have yours. If they're really serious and about that life, then they need to be wiring some money into that bank account, okay? Period. Otherwise, they shouldn't even be coming to you looking for you to give birth to none of their dusties, okay? No dusties, no dusty kids, all right? All right, y'all. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I just wanted to make sure to get this out because it's so crazy to me. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.